Okay, so this is interesting. It took like 15 to 20 minutes for the drive to unmount, and then it finally formatted. It seems to be taking a format. So whether or not it's actually going to succeed, we'll find out at the end of this video. Not going to trust the drive, but it's interesting nonetheless to see that it actually decided to recover itself from the land of the dead. I don't know how, but I guess that's just the miracles of Fujitsu hard drives. Anyway, moving on to the actual subject at hand. What the hell? What's this? Yeah, your eyes are not deceiving you on your video. This is actually a new-ish laptop sitting on my desk. This was an interesting one. Now, I did have to sell my iPad for this, but then again, I barely ever used the thing anyway, so I didn't really have any kind of a loss, and I don't have any kind of financial loss except for the charger situation, but I'll get onto that. So anyway, this is a Dell Latitude E5470 that you're now currently seeing on my desk. And this was at the local pawn store. We have like a few of them, but this was at the most popular one, right in downtown, essentially. And yeah, this thing was just out in the open with all the rest of the crappy Celeron and Pentium laptops that were really overpriced. And this one just kind of stood out because not only was it obviously a Latitude in the land of cheap Acers and HPs and whatnot, but this was also heavily discounted. Now, when I first saw this, it looked like it was just a base model. There was nothing fancy about it. The keyboard is the non-backlit one. There's no biometrics. It just didn't look like it had anything special about it, like the base model Latitude E70 or 5470. I keep saying 7450. I blame Patrick for that one. Anyway.
It's 5470, my laptop, but better.
Yeah, stop talking about mine.
What if I don't want to?
Oh, too bad.
Okay.
Okay, but this one,
regardless,
when you run the serial number, it's got the i5-6440H, which is a quad-core processor, and it's got a 1920 by 1080 IPS screen.
Unfortunately, it doesn't have an upgraded storage solution. It just has the base 500 gig hard drive, which is it's a weird configuration. Like, they upgraded the CPU, they upgraded the display, and yet they left the hard drive as the base hard drive. It's weird.
I would have thought it actually would have come with a 5400 RPM hard.
Mine's a 7200 RPM.
I know.
200 RPM SSHD in mine.
Yeah, it's just weird. Like, this one has a bizarre configuration. I mean, I'm not complaining, though. For the price I paid for it, I'm definitely not complaining. But, you know, it's a weird configuration nonetheless. I mean, who would upgrade the CPU and the display and then leave the storage the same? I don't get it. Anyway.
Probably
Upgraded, customized.
All the voices were all over the place. Anyway. So, yeah, let's take a look at this machine real quick. It's just a E5470, nothing special. There's just a USB port over here on this side with the vent on the left side. On the front, there's just the 3 indicator LEDs for power, hard drive, and battery status. The right side, you get the headset jack, an SD card slot, another USB port, which actually has the USB power delivery on it, which is, I guess, a bonus feature. And I'll just go ahead and I'll shut the lid here real quick. And flip it around. And on the back, we got our Ethernet. We have a VGA port without the screws, which is a minor nuisance, although I'll get over it. That looks to be where a SIM card tray would be if this had it, but this one does not.
Yeah, that's a SIM card tray.
And then HDMI port, another USB port, and the charger port. And obviously no optical drive because this is a 14-inch model. And probably afterwards, you know, like after they introduced a newer model generation with this body style on it, they probably took out the optical drive in general because I think they only ever really reserved that for like, yeah. So anyway, let me log back in here. So as one of the members of the chat was saying, yeah, it's an i5-6440HQ quad core running at 2.6 gigahertz, I believe, with 8 gigs, 8 gigs of 2133 megahertz DDR4. Just the basic Intel graphics. I don't think these had discrete graphics options. This does have the 14-inch 1080p IPS LCD upgrade, which is a nice display, very nice. Viewing angles are great, contrast is great, it's very sharp. And of course, by default, I turn off text scaling in Windows because I don't think I need it at 150%. I can see the screen just fine. Anyway, so yeah, I'm running Windows 10 because that's what it was licensed for when it was new. I had to reinstall Windows anyway because it was stuck in BIOS mode, which was a bit of annoying. And Yeah, either way, I mean, it's running fine. I mean, I got all my stuff on here that I need for my personal needs and for school, although, you know, it's just your typical average Windows PC installation that I do. Nothing, you know, flashy. I just make it look somewhat presentable. Now, I will say, so far, with me transitioning from a ThinkPad T430S to a Latitude E5470, it's been kind of a rough start, but not exactly like rough in the sense like the machine itself is bad, and it actually took an installation. Well, I'll be damned. Okay, I gotta hold down Option real quick because this is doing the macOS Mojave unofficial patcher, so I need to go back into the USB thing. So anyway, while I'm doing that, what was that?
I'm talking to myself.
Oh, I thought you were gonna add
I'm
something.
gonna take the heatsink off of this thing.
Gotcha. Anyway, as I was going to say, so there's been a couple of things that I've noticed with this Latitude that I haven't exactly been a fan of. The first of which is the sound, because the sound seems to have some bizarre quirk with it where if there is a notification sound that plays, it will immediately peak the audio way higher than the actual volume level is set to, and then it levelizes. I cannot find any way to fix that.
I have experience with that myself on my 7250 and 5470.
I'll see if that's the same on mine.
Because it's super irritating. Like, I cannot find a way to fix it. Doesn't matter what I do. I can't fix it.
I just wonder if the difference in operating systems will be enough.
Oh, it's working fine now.
But yeah, like mine will have this weird thing. Let's go into run and we'll do like an improper run thing, and then I press enter. I'm sure you could be able to pick that up on the mic if I do it a couple times, but there's not only a delay for like a couple seconds before any sound plays when there should be a sound being played immediately, but then you have that really annoying volume glitch. And it just drives me up the frickin' wall. I don't know how you're supposed to fix that or turn it off. I tried updating the driver to the latest release just to make sure that it wasn't me going crazy.
It did the same thing for me with the startup sound on this.
Oh, I bet that would just be really annoying. Voice crack.
It's a little weird.
Yeah, so that's really going to drive me nuts about the sound. The weird thing is it doesn't do it with any video. Video is fine. I don't get
I
it.
assume it's the Realtek stuff, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay,
I think it's just system sounds.
Yeah, the system sounds are just driving me absolutely crazy. Like, video content's fine, music's fine, all that stuff's fine. It's just the system notification sounds do this really stupid volume glitch, and it drives me crazy. Like UAC prompts, they have a cutoff. Like, it'll peak at volume, then the whole sound will just stop for a split second, then play at normal volume. So irritating.
Yeah,
and
I'll
then,
have to see if that's an issue for me.
and not only that, again, there's like this 2-second delay before any audio plays. I had this issue with my Inspiron 15 3000. I had this issue with my Inspiron 5570. Now I'm having it with this one, so I'm not going to be surprised that's something to do with the Waves Max audio stuff that's causing that. I don't know why, but that's just the nature of it.
There's always kind of been issues with Dell laptops in terms of like audio, like newer ones, stuff like that.
The irony is, I have a Dell All-in-One behind me with a older Waves Max Audio something or another, and I think it's Waves Max Audio 3. 0 complaints. Works perfectly. Sounds great.
The audio on some of the Latitudes, like the E6400 and 4200, are kind of weird with the lower pitch.
Well, this one tends to rattle the whole chassis when you have bass-heavy content, so I don't know. Anyway, so that's my first complaint with the sound, is that it's driving me up the frickin' wall. I don't know what the deal is with it. It's just the nature of a Dell laptop.
That sounds really annoying.
Yeah. Second thing, and this is just a completely first world problem, I'm sure, is the keyboard, because I don't know what it is about this keyboard, but I'm not really getting used to it as quickly as I should. And this is, again, it might be just a first world thing. I might have to spend some more time typing on this thing to get a feel for it, but the keys, they just don't feel the same that I would expect from something like this. And this is coming from me previously on my last Dell laptop, like the Inspiron 15 5570. This is an improvement over that machine, because at least this actually has some form of key travel, despite there not being any kind of backlighting, which is not the end of the world. I don't really need it anyway, but it just, something about it just doesn't type right. I don't know if it's just my particular unit or the fact that, again, I'm not getting used to it, but I have to like really slam the keys to get it to type and register that I pressed a key. And the spacebar is the most noticeable for this, because I'm frequently typing, and it will constantly miss me pressing the space bar. So I have to go back and slam the space bar, and then it'll recognize it. And before you go in the comment section, be like, oh, well, you need to clean the keyboard. I've checked. There's nothing in this keyboard. There's no
It might just be your particular unit if you have to slam the key every.
Yeah, I don't know.
I was gonna say, that sounds like a keyboard issue.
And that might have been why they got rid of it. Hell, I don't know.
If you didn't have to slam the key and you just didn't like the keyboard, you would just have to get time to get used to it.
Exactly. It's just, something about this keyboard. Again, it's probably the particular one I have. It just doesn't type quite right. It's something about it. The touchpad's fine, which is a given. It's probably new enough to have Windows Precision drivers. I haven't bothered to check, and not like that matters, but I'm pretty sure that it does.
Thankfully, keyboards for this laptop are pretty cheap, like around $10 for non-backlit and a little more for track.
So it's not the end of the world. If I really need to replace it, I will. It's not like I can't do that.
Yeah,
But
you can just get the cheapest one possible, and that'll work.
yeah. But since it still seems to work fine, I'll wear it out a little more and see if it gets any better or worse. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
I have
How's that configuration going for you over there?
Oh, mine?
to me.
See?
Oh, him.
Well, it's definitely not fast because stupid hard drive.
Yeah, tell me about it. And I'm not complaining, though. I'm not really complaining at all, though. This thing has actually been pretty nice.
Removing all of the drive crap.
Yeah.
Take all that out because I don't want it conflicting. And there's a lot of annoying Dell tools that were installed.
Yeah.
I mean, so far right now it's working fine.
Well, I mean, I guess that's a good thing, right?
At least I'm not having any keyboard issues, so haha.
Well, don't eat. Don't. What was I gonna say?
50 or 5470. I just had to fix all the other issues.
I was gonna say I wouldn't go counting on your success being so good there because you end up jinxing yourself. But I don't know. Also, I just noticed that there's another slight cosmetic imperfection in the display bezel, but you can't probably pick it up. Actually, no, the camera does pick it up amazingly. Anyway, that's just.
The touchpad seems to be pretty good.
These do have pretty good touchpads, I will say. They're actually quite
I
nice.
wasn't sure if this was gonna be crappier because it's like slightly older.
Well, mine's fine. I like it. So, I mean, it's a lot bigger than the ThinkPad's touchpad because the ThinkPad's one was like super tiny. But then again, it did have the track point on it, so that's one thing I am going to miss. But that's, again, first world problems. That's just nitpicks, so nothing that's going to affect the actual functionality of the laptop. Anyway, so my last thing that I wanted to discuss on video, because this has actually been really generous, a viewer of mine actually DM'd me, and he actually generously donated a key for a video editor that I might be able to try and use on Windows. So I'm going to leave it as anonymous because that's what he requested. But I appreciate the donation very much, and I'm going to try editing this very video on this video editor. And if you see it on YouTube, well, then it must have successfully rendered or something. So again, big shout out to the anonymous person who donated the key. Much appreciated. That has actually been really useful. So we're going to see how it runs on this, given that it's a quad-core i5, which is much faster than the Ivy Bridge i5 that I was previously using in my ThinkPad, which really wasn't a slouch at all. It actually was a very good chip. But this is a good bit more powerful, so hopefully this will suck on any issues that I've been having with, some weird issues with video editing on Windows, because that's been an issue that I've been having with the ThinkPad, and it's probably got something to do with the CPU or the graphics, or both. Or maybe it's just Windows 10 in a nutshell, not liking that computer. That's certainly a possibility. But anyway, so I don't think there's anything really much else to say about the Latitude. The Mac Mini seems to have taken an OS install, so I'm going to go ahead and get the post-install stuff going, because that needs to be done, and then I'll see if it actually boots up and passes a disk check, because that'll be interesting. It does show up now in the select volume thing. I'm also going to do the recovery partition and the legacy Wi-Fi patch, because both of those I do need. And we'll see how that goes. Like I said, I'm going to post the outcome down below in the comments section. I'm pretty sure that this is going to work. I'm not going to really trust this. I might burn test it, but I'm not really going to try to use this consistently for video editing, because for one thing, it's really goddamn slow. And B, we know that the hard drive is probably on its last legs because it's 10 years old. So let's be fair, it's probably about to die. But the fact that it still kind of works is amazing. So I'm actually surprised that it formatted. But regardless, anyway. So I think that's it for now. Because again, I don't think there's anything else I need to mention about either the new Latitude, the generous donation, or the Mac Mini. So I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video here. So I guess we'll... I don't know, you guys have any last words?
No.
Check out my E5470 once that's done if you'd like to.
Yeah.
Don't subscribe to me because I'm better.
No.
Subscribe to me too, Dr. McGoats.
Well, we already know Patrick's existence, so anyway.
Are you sure? Because you used to say that I changed my name every week till I did.
What about Australian?
Yeah, that's
Wow.
definitely his username. Anyway, that's it for now, guys.
It's not that. For your information.
Alright. Yeah, like I said, for the third time now, because I don't know how to end videos. This is probably going to be it for now, so I'll see you guys in a future video. Hopefully this does make it to YouTube, because obviously you're making it to the end of this video, so anyway.